Okay, so you can see that I am at repl.it, the website. You can make projects in any language on this website. We're going to try and do some Python real quick here. So you're going to click the blue button at the top right that says New REPL. We're going to go to Python and you name it whatever. So if you're doing like the first Python challenge, you can name it that. And then you click the Create button. And then we're ready to rock. We're going to code here in the middle. We're going to have our output on the right when we hit play. And it's really straightforward and easy to use. I'm just going to go through some quick input and output. This is one of the first lessons that we would have done in Python. We addressed it just a little bit days before spring break. So to print something, you type print, and then in parentheses, whatever it is you want to print. So if we're going to print text, we're going to put it in quotation marks. So if I'm printing hi there, then I would do something like that. The hi there class is just text, so it has to go in quotes. If you don't put stuff like that in text, then Python thinks that it is some sort of command. Like class, you can see there it was highlighted in blue. That's an actual programming word. Like it's called a keyword. Like print is a keyword, and it's blue. So if you don't put things in quotes, it thinks that they're all like important programmed words. And if you try and run it, you're going to get errors. Now, be prepared to get a lot of errors. You're going to get lots and lots of errors when you are programming in Python. And this is a chance for you to really work on your perseverance. I get errors all the time still when I code. And the key is getting used to seeing what kinds of errors you get. So this is an invalid syntax, which just means I don't understand what it is you're trying to do here, is basically what Python is trying to tell us. We're not following the rules of Python when we have invalid syntax. So in this case, the rule that we didn't follow is we didn't put in quotation marks around our text. Something else that we looked at in class is we can use variables. We can name a variable whatever we want, as long as it doesn't have spaces or start with a number. So I can name a variable cool variable, just like we did in Scratch. We made lots of variables to store information. Right? That's what a variable is for. And when we want to store something in Python, we type in equals. And we can make this cool variable store whatever we want. It can be a number, it can be a decimal, it could be more text. So we could store something like my name. I can put my name in there if I want, and that's my cool variable. Now if I print my cool variable, notice that Python has this auto text thing, or sorry, not auto text, autocomplete. Cool variable pops up because it recognizes that as something we've used before. So if you hit tab, it will autocomplete that for you, and that'll speed up your programming a little bit. So now we have two things printed, hi there class, as well as Clint Gentry, because that's what's stored in our cool variable. Okay. Now the other thing that you're really going to be focusing on early on is using input. Input means it's the ask command from Scratch is what it is. So if I was going to ask something like, what is your favorite quarantine activity? Notice again, I'm putting it in quotes because it's text. It's literal text that I want to show up. Instead of printing it, I'm going to use the input command. And input again is just the ask block. Now, this will ask the question if I play it right now, and I can type blah, 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 but then nothing's going to happen. Nothing will happen unless I do more stuff and unless I save the answer to this question. There is no answer variable unless you make one. And again, you can name an answer, like I can go over here and I can say, I'm making a new variable called answer and I'm assigning it the value of the input. But you don't have to call it answer. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it activity because that's what it's asking about. It's really up to you what you name your variables. But the point is when you use the input command, you better store the answer that gets returned from that block. Otherwise, you won't know what they answered. But now, since I do know what they answered, I could do something like this. Print. Yes, comma, activity is a fun thing to do. Notice the commas here separating the variable with the rest of the text. Okay, this comma is a part of the text, so it's actually going to show up on the screen. These other two commas are not part of the text. They are separating my variable printing from my text printing. So let's watch this one. So I'm going to put in reading as my answer, and then it's going to print. Yes, reading is a fun thing to do because reading is the value of the activity variable. Okay, so that is how you use repl.it. You print or you code, you run, it runs, it's easy. And if you want to turn stuff in, you're going to click the share button at the top, and you're going to copy this share link, and then you're going to send it to me on Canvas. I'll check it out, and I'll give you some feedback if need be on that. The last thing I will say, the examples in Code.hs, I think, are in Python 2. Repl.it, you're going to be using Python 3. One of the biggest differences between Python 2 and Python 3 is on Code.hs, when you print, they're not going to have parentheses. So they might have this instead, print hi there class. They are not going to allow that here on repl.it because repl.it uses Python 3, and in Python 3 you must have parentheses whenever you use a command like Python. So just be aware of that. They're going to expect parentheses around anything that follows a command. So whether it's the print command or the input command or whatever, you're going to need parentheses there. So that's all for now. Look back for more videos later, but follow along on that outline that's on the front page of Canvas and turn in those challenges so I can see how well you're doing. All right, see y'all.